Alliance Councillors Vasco de Gama from the city of Johannesburg and Tshwane Speaker Katlego Mathebe. Let's go live to that.
Distributed to yourselves. There's been a delay. I think there's a problem with technology, but it will be distributed, and it's not a long statement. So if you can listen attentively, then you'll be able to decide what questions you are able to ask. So the first thing is to welcome all of you to this press briefing. We've called this important briefing to publicly explain, and this is important, our collective decision to rescind the suspensions of councillors, as you know, in both municipalities of Johannesburg and Tshwane. And a week ago, on Thursday, the 23rd of January, we publicly announced the suspensions of these two councillors, and this decision was duly communicated to the public and to the two municipalities. And one of the fundamental reasons that led to the decisions to suspend both councillors, give them 3 and 6 months respectively without pay, was that they acted in a manner that puts personal interest, if you like, self-preservation, above those of the residents of the two cities. But they also undermined the constitution and muzzled democracy in these two municipalities. Our decision to suspend both councillors was not taken lightly. I must explain. It was not taken lightly, or was it neither informed by party politics. It was in the spirit of cooperative governance. So the merit and the correctness of our decision remains. The merit and the correctness of our decision remains, because our actions have been consistent with the Constitution and pertinent municipal legislation. That's why today we are giving you an opportunity to interact with us, to clarify those further and any contradiction that has arisen as a result of the decision you've taken. However, we must indicate, as you know, that we were served with papers, and we'll deal with that issue by the DA, and we were instructed to respond last week, Thursday at 5. We responded, and we said to them we're still consulting with the senior council on the matter. We did consult with the senior council. We looked at the matter extensively, and we still came to the same conclusion, that the merit remains. So it is important to underscore that despite having given the councillors an opportunity to present their versions, so we gave them an opportunity, in response to the allegations against them, they failed to address substantive issues. Even after consulting with the senior council, we maintain that the conduct of the two councillors constituted gross abuse of office, dereliction of legislative duties, and caused harm to the residents of both cities. So we're not mincing our words. We're not retreating. I know they were celebrating, saying we must be fired, this and that. They think we're retreating. No, we're not. Because we are rational, we know what we're doing. And we will explain further. So for us, the interests of residents come first, and they guide our actions. So the Section 152 obligations of municipalities under the Constitution and all relevant local government legislation should never be compromised for political expediency. Hence our stern action aimed at restoring order and decorum to council sittings, which are supposed to address pertinent service delivery issues. It can never be acceptable that council sittings are perpetually collapsed. Council sittings are perpetually collapsed in furtherance of partisan political agendas. whilst critical service delivery issues such as the Hammanskraal water crisis remain unresolved. In fact, it is gross violation of the law to breach one's obligation in favor of political expediency. Letters sent to both speakers of Johannesburg and the acting city manager of Tshwane address and underscore these fundamental principles in the same spirit of ensuring that party political affiliation does not stand in the way of compliance with the supreme law of the Republic. This also demonstrates our unflinching commitment to uphold the rule of law and indisputable respect for our judiciary. As a result of our decision, we have since received correspondence from the DA legal team alerting us that they will effectively and immediately remove the matter from today's court's roll. As you know, it was on the emergency basis. So in the light of the strong merits of our initial decision, we have issued a written directive to the Chief Whip of the City of Tshwane and accepted the request from the Chief Whip of the City of Johannesburg, respectively. So the City of Johannesburg, after we took this decision, the Chief Whip wrote us a letter, and in that letter he said, no, they must initiate the investigation. So they wrote, so this is the Chief Whip of the DA in the City of Johannesburg. They wrote, we'll give you the copy, share with you. So we accept that. And we have written to them to say they must now bring the matter before council. So the matter is not over, the matter is before councils now. And we are saying that within 7 days, both councils should have made the determination, and they must bring back the matter to the MEC for cooperative governance to finalize. So there's no charges that have dropped. And I will read to you the charges. We're going to amend the statement and tell you which land. So we will read those charges. In conclusion, we should indicate that yesterday we had a very constructive meeting with the multi-party whips of Tshwane, and the DA boycotted that meeting. We invited them. When we invited them on Friday, they wanted to know what's the agenda. We gave them the agenda. They questioned if we've got the authority. We said this has nothing to do with council processes. It's dealing with a whole range of issues. But come to the meeting, let's engage. They refused. Freedom Front Plus said no, they have a funeral, which is understandable. They were indeed, because I think the whip is a priest. He was attending a funeral. The EFF, the ACDP, and the ANC were in that meeting. And after that, we met with SALGA, the South African Local Government Association, in Gauteng to deal with this issue. And they received our briefing positively, and indeed expressed disappointed that the Speaker did not share any of the correspondence we have been sending to her with council. So we must put on record now, we have been writing a lot of correspondences to the City of Tshwane, including the directives that we issued on service delivery. The Speaker has not shared those with council, the Speaker of council. So we must emphasize once again, as we have consistently stated, that we have no interest in putting any municipality under administration or to interfere in their affairs. Our focus is on ensuring that service delivery to the people of Gauteng is not compromised through offering them continuous support as per our responsibilities in Section 154 of the Constitution. But we also want to implore the municipal council in Tshwane to comply with the Section 139, subsection 1, subsection 8 directives, as doing so will be to the benefit of the citizens of Tshwane. So we know that they are meeting on Thursday, and just to be clear on what are these charges. So we are clear, and these are the charges. I'll read them. So you won't see them in the statement, but we'll amend the statement so that it's not a secret. Yeah? Or in the copies they have. Okay. So you see the charges. I hope you see them. Let me not read them. So they are clear, and these are the same charges. But you'll see in the 21, there's another one we added there of insubordination. The speaker. We added that one. So I know there was celebrating or no, we are retreating, we are scared. No, we're not scared. What we want to do, we don't want to confuse issues. Because our strategic objective is to ensure that democracy prevails in Tshwane, service delivery is not affected, and that the municipality functions properly. The reason the DA is worried now, angry, and saying all sorts of things, Makura must fire Maile and all that, is because their strategy to derail the matter in Tshwane has been defeated. And that's why even in their letters, they've never, not even once, questioned the powers. They've just made an allegation that we're abusing the powers, that's one. But two, they've never questioned the merit of the conduct of their councillors. Castrom dot, umsebenzi wakho, nasengiqedile. Engathulelo uyabuza usamkela athi wena kanti ukhuluma nini? Ngithi akubuze because ngimbuza yona leyo nto leyo. Kwala la. Ngimbuzile. Yesamkela, mbuze na. Maybe the first question I answer. Akayenza umsebenzi wakhe. Busy ngeporticos.
Number one, number two, number three, number 4, number 5, number 6.
Name and media house.
Please introduce yourself and the institution you represent. Yeah, number 1.
MEC Trudy Maravich from Business Day. I just wanted to find out, given the fact that you've taken it now back to council, the DA's complaint, if I looked at their court papers correctly, was that you didn't have the power to just invoke section 14.6 to just unilaterally suspend it. So is the fact that you have now taken it back to council acknowledging that that is the process that you had to follow? And did you jump the gun? What legal advice did you get on this matter which made you go through a process which you have now backed down on? Because the process has been backed down on. Thank you so much.
Number 2.
It's Ndayezo from Power FM. Mine might be linked to hers. I may not be picking up here in the statement. What informed you to rescind the decision? What was the main reason? Was it because it was wrong to suspend in the first place, or was it because there was some agreement that this matter will be discussed in council meetings before you go ahead with the suspensions again? I just need clarity on what informed you not to rescind the suspensions.
Yes.
MEC Lisa from News 24, but I'm also continuing with my colleagues' questions, because last week you were very confident about the law and the rights that the law gives you. Seemingly, nothing in your statement now stipulates what laws that you are given to. It seems like there's limitations within the laws that you have, and you are not stating that outrightly. You are rescinding this decision, and given that you were calling Vasco da Gama someone who's a constitutional delinquent. I'm wondering if you still maintain that. And what do you say about the fact that the 2 councillors are going to court against you?
Sure.
Yes. Silvio Hareta from Independent. Last week on Thursday, some people since you announced the decision have been criticizing you and the decision, saying you are reckless, you are populist, and you are abusing the legislative power given to your office when you took that decision. And today is Tuesday. You are saying after consultation with the SC, which means the SC told you something which made you to reverse the decision that you took. Did you take the decision before seeking legal advice? Because it would mean that after seeking that legal advice from the senior council, you were told to rescind the decision and take it back to local government. And can you, in your statement, you do not actually specifically mention what the senior council told you. You just say after you consulted with the senior council. What did they tell you exactly? And also, did they, when you made your decision, the DA told you to reverse it. And they told you, no uncertain terms in their court papers, that even in the letter that they sent to you through their lawyers, that if you don't reverse, you don't rescind this decision, they are going to ask the court to make you to pay personally. Did that scare you to and force you to retreat? Just lastly, did you consult the Premier in any way before you took that decision? And is this decision now that you are announcing today maybe a collective product of the input from the Premier in terms of you deciding to reverse it? Thank you.
MEC, it's Bonolo from Network 24. Thank you for taking my question. Last Thursday rather, in your press briefing, you said that the decision that you took to suspend the 2 councillors was informed by law. Your statement on Monday said that you had sought legal advice from senior counsel, and as in consequence of that, you decided to rescind your decision on Thursday. So my question, therefore, is why did you act without advice, or why did you act without obtaining legal advice on this issue? And then secondly, my second question as well, in your statement here, paragraph, on the second page, you said that this matter will now be taken back to council. Is this the step that you had missed last week, Thursday? Is that indicative of that? Yeah, that's my question.
MEC, it's Samkela from the SABC. Mine also is tagged along my colleagues. Did you basically receive legal advice last week when you suspended the 2 Democratic Alliance councillors? And if so, was this legal advice within the department or was it outsourced? And then on the issue of the recent legal advice you've been seeking from Advocate Toby, did he basically tell you that you overreached on this particular matter and there was no complaint from these particular 2 councils in Tshwane and in Johannesburg? And if you then went to sort out private legal advice on this matter, what then happens to the legal advice that you received from within your department? If it was wrong, what then happens to those who may have possibly misled you, if at all you did receive any legal advice from within the department? And are you abusing your powers as the NEC when it comes to these metros and basically playing politics in order for the ANC to regain the city that they originally lost in Tshwane? Thank you.
So the last question is: are we abusing our?
Are you abusing your powers as the NEC in order to play politics to keep Oshimaya Tshwane?
I'm sure you'll be happy if you was to do that. No, thanks for the questions. You guys like asking difficult questions, but I guess you get paid for asking difficult questions and for holding us accountable. I know most of you yesterday were looking for me and thinking that I'm running away and I don't want to answer these questions. But I did say that no, there's issues of tactics, and there's also law is broad and it's open for interpretation, and that's why you've got the courts to basically interpret the law. And that's why you've got legal counsels to also participate in that process. And that's why there is nothing wrong when we seek legal counsel on various issues. So Claudia says, did we have the power to invoke Section 6? Is that the question?
No. The question is that you basically linked into everybody else's questions. Just given the fact that you're taking it back now to council, are you acknowledging that you couldn't just unilaterally do that? Is that what the legal advice basically said?
Okay, let me answer it in this fashion.
Yeah.
In the law, and I would ask you to read that Systems Act. What clause is it? 14.6. 14.6. Please read it, because what it says. There is no way it says the MEC can't take a decision without the council referring the matter to the MEC. So that's the first important part. The second part is that the letter that was written to us by the DA, it was quoting 2 case laws. We did not see those case laws. We never had sight of those 2 case laws. And that's why we had to seek legal counsel to say, the law is clear what the MEC can do. And the MEC is doing what the law says he can do. However, there is this persuasive in law. It's called what? Persuasive
value.
Persuasive value. So this is another court elsewhere having ruled on the same matter. This was not in our jurisdiction, 1, but 2, and this is not just 1 court, by the way, it's 2 courts. So despite the fact that the law is clear, are you going to be arrogant, going to be naive, you're going to insist? What inspires you? Is it the functionality of council? Is it the upholding of democracy? Or is it the purging of people, these 2 councillors? We are not obsessed with these 2 people. What we are obsessed with is the preservation of democracy. These 2 people, through their actions in the last few months, they have clearly demonstrated disregard for the law. They have clearly acted in a partisan manner. They have clearly put their interest above that of the... So when we were looking at the matter, we looked at all these issues. It's not like we just said and say, hey, what can we do this week? We want to be in the paper. Let's do this thing. And just suspend people. No. We looked at a whole range of issues. And we also looked at the law, by the way. And as you know, well, I'm not a lawyer. I hope to be one soon. It's a very interesting, profession, because you will know that in terms of the law, there's about 2 main things that determines whether the law is substance and facts. I mean substance and procedure. Substance and procedure. So we looked at the substantive matters. We looked at the procedure. So we will not deny that we might not have seen that those two case studies. And once they were brought to our attention, we then had a discussion with our senior counsel on the matter. We could have gone to court today, and in fact, by the way, we responded firstly with on Friday, on Thursday, yes, to say our counsel is looking at the matter. Even before we responded to the DA lawyers, they rushed into going to court, filing to get the date on Tuesday. And by the way, and I don't want to venture into this, to get the matter to be considered by court urgently, you must file by Thursday for your matter to be dealt with on Tuesday. The DA one was filed on Friday and it was granted, but it's fine, that's not the issue. We'll deal with it some other day. But what I'm saying is that the DA has shown desperation. So ask yourself why they are desperate. Who's the DA leader? Mr. Steenhuisen responded on our statement, and he included things that had nothing to do with us. Former mayor of Durban, former mayor of Mfuleni, mayor of Johannesburg, this and that. We clarified those issues. That anyway, those ones, the ANC will respond and they have been dealt with, they know that. Here's the issue we're dealing here with delinquents. Someone was asking me, there's an issue they're taking me to court. I think they should. There's nothing wrong. And we did say the same even last week, that there's nothing wrong if the DA takes us to court. But I'm sure you will appreciate that all of us are entitled to legal advice. And when we seek legal advice, because your lawyer tells you, okay, these are our chances, or this is the weakness in the case, how do we strengthen it? So all we're doing is to strengthen our case. It's not to retreat, because they believe that we are retreating. That's why they are talking about lawsuits. No, we are kaspedi karnaki mupedi baru chechela mrao asu chawa ku chia power or chia balance kintu eridia richer power, we are strengthening our case. If you want to look at it differently. So we're not retreating. We have never retreated. We will never retreat. We're forging ahead because we've got a solid case. Because these councillors have acted in a way that brought the council to disrepute, that undermines the constitution. So we didn't jump the gun. We acted as we saw the law and as we understood it. And when we received an external and additional legal advice, we then looked at how do we then strengthen the case and make sure that we speedily achieve our objective. Remember, what is our objective? Is to preserve democracy in the cities, these two cities. By the way, in Johannesburg, the DA did not go to the council meeting that elected the speaker, because the DA initially disputed the outcome of council. They disputed the outcome of democracy. The following meeting, they wanted to sabotage that meeting. They didn't go. What happened? There are two members who are conscious, who did what they had asked people during President Zuma's time to do, to vote with their conscience. Ne? They did what their party says people must vote with conscience. They voted with conscience. What have they done? They've chucked them out now. So this is the kind of party we're dealing with, which is not consistent, with flip-flops, which does not embrace democracy. They didn't go. We are also informed that on Thursday they are not going to go to council. So they might go now because they know we know. They might not go to council because they hope that council must not correct, because they are obsessed with power. They are obsessed with power. Now they create an impression that a vote of no confidence, it's a coup. They've done so many votes of no confidence in Parliament during President Zuma's time. They've done one here in the Gauteng legislature. And we have faced those votes of no confidence. So DA, it's a party that does not embrace democracy. It's a party that deceives people. It's a party that is not honest to itself and its electorate. In Tshwane, as I was saying, that these people want to subvert democracy. And I've explained in Johannesburg, there's still motions in Johannesburg that are coming. Motion on the chief whip, motions on the chairpersons of committees. Watch and see what they're going to do. Watch and see that they're going to come with tactics, because they're obsessed with power. They like power. And they don't care about the interest of the people. In Tshwane, they've done, and the pattern is the same. They've done the same in PE. You remember, they were grabbed, kicking and screaming. It was not easy to take them out there. It was not easy to take them out in Johannesburg. When the ANC lost in 2016, ANC never came with funny tactics and all that. They gracefully left office. So why can't these ones accept that democracy works like that? So even in Tshwane, that's what they're trying to do. And the speaker has got the blessings of the DA to deliberately stall the voting of the motion of no confidence. And unfortunately, the matter about leadership in Tshwane, if it's not resolved, it affects directly the citizens of Tshwane, because there is no service delivered. We issued directives. We said they must fix water in Hammanskraal. We said they must reprioritize their budget and do all sorts of things. All those things are not on the agenda. They are not being discussed because DA is busy trying to cling to power with using undemocratic means. So it has nothing to do with us admitting that we were wrong. Or if we were wrong, we will admit. We will admit, because we don't suffer from low self-esteem. We don't have egos. And that's why we are here today. To say, even if we might have erred on a step or whatever, but our case is solid. We are forging ahead. And we didn't want to give them, because, by the way, what they wanted, as I've said, is to delay the case. Is to delay the matter, in Tshwane. Because if the court would have said, we grant you on an agency basis, that they must be reinstated, it means that in the next few weeks or months, there's nothing you could do until the court finalizes the matter. So this is what I'm saying. Our posture is informed by what is our objective. Our objective is to ensure that there's functionality, there's preservation of democracy, there's service delivery. But the two councillors have not shown any remorse, and that's why they're even confidently taking us to court. If there's things we said that tarnishing their image and all that, they're within their right. They should go to court. So someone asks a question, were you scared? Personal cost? No, not at all. No, not at all. The only unfortunate thing is that it was going to affect my pension, because that's the only money I have. And then I must work for more years and all that. So no, not at all. Especially if it's a decision that I believe in. It's the decision we took in the interest of service delivery, in the interest of democracy. If I'm going to, it's going to be, to be reduced to me as a person, well, it comes with the territory. So be it. I've also sued people previously, and I'm still suing. There's two, and maybe I will take from that money. I will have to speed up that one so that I pay this side. I've got two outstanding cases with EFF and DA, so maybe I'll take from there. That's how I was planning, or I have something coming. I decide. So I was never scared at all. The DA, that's why this man, Steenhuisen, knows very well. No, he doesn't know. And I was saying to him, no, ask the people who work with me in the legislature, but DA, just that I keep happy and all that. But they know I'm not a pushover, easy. You can't just deal with me like you're dealing with some clueless small boy. I mean, I've been an MEC from 2010 November. We've taken a lot of decisions. And that is why if there's a need to step back, reflect and say, how do we strengthen this decision? If it was wrong to charge them, we would have told you, we apologize, it's wrong, we withdraw. We would not have hesitated. But we are confident that we are correct, and that's why we are forging ahead. So, we were saying, Lizaka, we're confident. I'm as confident as last week. More than confident, more than before. In fact, I'm rejuvenated. I'm ready now. I think now now we are going to court. We are ready. So I'm as confident as last week, that we've got a strong case and we will definitely deal with it. Gama, by the way, is from Alex. He was in the ANC, so he's my man. I like him. The personal level is from Alex. I'm from Alex. But this has nothing to do with personalities. This has nothing to do. I'm doing my job. The Constitution requires that, and you must check the letters we wrote. We wanted to issue them first. There's something we say there in the letters where I talk about my capacity as the member of Executive Council responsible for local government in the province. Member of Executive Council, because that's how the law, although the local government is a different sphere, but when you look at the law, there are certain responsibilities that one has to provide oversight on that sphere of government. So I'm doing it so it's not like there is no law that guides me. I just wake up and go somewhere. If somebody was saying no, but there is no such a law that says you can suspend or expel. That's why I'm referring you to that clause 14.6. It's there. The issue is, are you applying it correctly? Are you abusing it or not? And I'll come to that point because that's what Samkelo is raising. So Siviwe says some people are saying reckless, populist. Yeah, look, people who don't know me, I've never been a populist. I am not capable of being a populist. Even if I can try, I think I'll fail dismally. Because all my years in the struggle, in government, I have never tried to be a populist. If I was a populist, maybe I would be running my own party now as well. So I'm not one. And that's why I've never been on the wrong side of the code of conduct of the ANC or in government. I'm not a populist. I'm just a passionate public representative who serves to the best of my ability. And when I execute whatever task I'm given, I always strive to be the best. And in the process, I might commit mistakes. It has nothing to do with populism. I'm not a populist. I'm not reckless. I'm very measured. I try my level best, but it doesn't mean that in the process I can't commit mistakes. And if I commit mistakes, I will always be the first to admit that we've committed mistakes, and I always strive to learn from those mistakes, because what's the point of not learning from your mistakes? Because if you don't admit and accept your mistakes, you'll never learn. So I'm not anything near being a populist. I'm not capable. I will never qualify. And what did the senior counsel told us?
What did they say?
You said, you see, this is tactics. We must employ the tactics so that we can emerge victorious. No, the senior counsel said to us, did you see the two court cases? We said no, we have not. We have seen them for themselves. So he said no. I went through them, and my view is that there is some point. There is a point that is being raised. Your case is solid. I agree with you. I advise that let's rescind it for now. Take it back to council, and then he says to me, if you want to go to court, I'm at your service. So the senior counsel at no point did he say, if you don't agree with me, I'm withdrawing or what. No, the senior counsel said, here's the advice, but I'm at your service. If you want to go to court, I'll gladly represent you, but this is my view. And then we took a decision.
All right, and so we come out of that briefing by the MEC for Kokta, Lebogang Maile.